BBC Radio Kent, good morning. 12 minutes past 11 is the time. Steve in for Jules until 12. Here again tomorrow morning, and she'll be back on Wednesday. Now, we've been talking about politics. We've also been talking about the worry of feeding your children during the long summer holidays, which have just started for many, or are going to start later this week as well. The Trussell Trust says the number of emergency food parcels distributed to children last summer soared by almost 20%. And before the news, we spoke to Sharon Goodyer, who launched Our Kitchen, which delivered over 1,600 hot meals to children and families in Margate and Ramsgate last year, and it is returning again this week. She said that she got help from her local councillors. Let's talk to one of them. Councillor Sharon Constantine is the Labour District Councillor for Newington and County Councillor for Ramsgate. Karen, lovely to talk to you. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. Better for listening to the communards.
Absolutely.
You from the past.
Yeah, you can't help but tap your foot and strum along.
I was having a little dance.
Exactly. How did you help Sharon, Karen?
Well, first of all, Sharon approached us for a members grant, which I was very happy to give, given that she outlined what she wanted to do, and it seemed a big ask, but it seemed achievable. And then as the school holidays approached, I was then, let's put it this way, I was gently volunteered into assisting. And actually it was a great experience last summer, sort of running the summer kitchen up in Newington. It was really good fun.
I seem to remember watching TV pictures, the TV reports about it at the time, and it was such a great mix of different people, and it was proper community coming together, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was lovely. I mean, I think they had greater success at Draper's Mill at bringing people together, and it was a bit more of a slow burn up in Newington. But this year, Newington are taking that forward for themselves. So Newington Community Centre is running Fit and Fed, so there'll be meals there and activities. So that's absolutely brilliant. We'll be just up the road at Dame Janet, and there'll also be activities out at Draper's Mill. So the idea is caught a light and it's growing, which is absolutely brilliant.
Do you think it's going to be? I suppose it's hard to tell because you've only just started. But do you think it's going to be busier this year, or is it going to be about on about a par? What do you think?
I think we might be busier actually, because I think the word's got around, and we created a nice atmosphere. It's very open, it's very welcoming. You know, there were no barriers to access all of that political stuff, so people could come and go as they felt. People could come and collect sort of takeaway meals and take them away for family and friends. And there was a lot of that actually in Newington, people coming to care for other people by collecting something from them. And I was interested in what Sharon said. You know, this food essentially was free. However, people did make a contribution. And I did see people going through their back pocket, digging in to find the shrapnel to give us, you know. So that was really welcomed.
What do you think can be done to help solve the root of the problem? I mean, no one can wave a magic wand and alleviate all financial worries because, you know, by definition, some people get paid more than others, and that's the way of the world, I suppose. But how can we solve this problem? Is it perhaps looking at when school holidays occur and the length of school holidays?
No, I think that's sort of missing the point, actually. I mean, there's two really key things here. And I suppose they're both political, so you'll have to forgive me for going back to the politics on this. I mean, the first thing is now we know what good nutrition looks like. And so we have an imperative to provide children and parents with an understanding of what good nutrition is. And it's not carb-laden plates. That's not good for our children. So I know that Sharon is on a mission to kind of really help people to understand what good nutrition looks like. And that is a message for us all, actually. We've all got some unhealthy eating habits, and we need to tackle those. We need to tackle those to stem the obesity crisis upstream. So the sooner we can do it for our children, the better off and the healthier they will be. But the other key thing here is the growing levels of poverty. And you'll know that the UN rapporteur described this as the ideological cuts to public services since 2010 have led to tragic consequences. And part of those tragic consequences is children and parents going hungry. We've got 8 million families who are working but still in poverty. In Newington, we've got a child poverty rate of 51%. So the government, whichever government is in control, really needs to tackle that very urgently.
I'm going to play devil's advocate because I know that there will be
Go
people
on.
listening today who will say, well, perhaps the financial management within some families could be better and prioritise what they're spending their money on, maybe?
Yeah, well, I would welcome anybody that takes that view and opinion to have a conversation with one of these families, to have a look at the resources available to them and to see how better they could manage. Because getting hold of good nutritional food is actually quite an expensive business, and we are seeing food prices rising. So it is really difficult. So it's a two-pronged attack, really. It's one, making sure that people do have enough money in their purse and wallet to buy food and then it's freely available to them. But it's also now this other imperative of kind of really trying to get people to buy the healthier food. And it's blueberries and such are not cheap. We want people to buy decent food. And if we want people to buy decent food and stave off a further crisis for the NHS to deal with, then we need to make sure that work pays. And we need to make sure the benefit system is actually adequate to meet people's needs.
I'm all for healthy food, and I'm all for cooking it myself. So, I'm singing from the same hymn sheet with you there, Karen. If people want to get involved, how can they down there?
They can contact Sharon Goodyer. They can contact Barry Lewis, Councillor Barry Lewis. They can contact myself, Councillor Karen Constantine. We're all Googleable. We're all on the TDC and KCC website. You can Facebook our kitchen on the Isle of Thanet. That will bring up some details. We are looking for volunteers to come and do sports and do arts, to do haircuts, to offer taxi services. I mean, this is a really active community. People do rally here. We do have Boris Johnson's can-do spirit, actually, but it is difficult when the community is suffering from impoverishment. So if anybody wants to volunteer, please get in touch and we will put your skills and efforts to good use for our community.
It sounds really good. Thank you, Karen, for that. Just while I've got you, because we are talking about politics today and engaging, the gap between the public engaging with politicians of all parties and everything like that. How popular is Jeremy Corbyn in Thanet at the moment? Because there's these reports saying that his support is plummeting within the party. 2/5 want him to stand down as leader before the next general election. How's he going down in Thanet, Karen?
Well, I think I'm not hearing this. I'm not hearing this about Jeremy Corbyn at all. What I'm hearing is the need for radical change. People don't talk to me about Jeremy Corbyn. They talk to me about what a terrible state the country's in. And the people that I listen to the most are the people in my own age group and older, 56 and upwards, who can look back and can say, it was never this bad before, and what are we doing to our younger generation? So I think on many levels, right across Thanet, people are very engaged in community politics. They're interested in whether or not we're greening the Isle enough, whether or not we're planting enough trees, whether or not we've got enough public toilets. All of this and the food issue is political. And a lot of people, and we've got a huge membership in the Labour Party, certainly in South Thanet. So I'm not seeing this particular issue. The one thing I would say is actually Jeremy Corbyn is the most smeared politician there has ever been. And it's really painful to watch. But you know what we say? We're like Michelle Obama. They go low, we go high.
Karen, good to talk to you as always. Councillor Karen Constantine, Labour District Councillor for Newington and County Councillor for Ramsgate.